Hello and welcome back to the Tea and a Butty podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're going to be talking about places we've been.
Places we've been.
Places we've been. Scotland. We've been to Scotland, guys.
Yeah.
We just got back from there right now.
Oh, God, I wish.
Have to go again because, well, I mean, you saw a good part of the countryside, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, we decided to get back to talking some more about our trip.
Yeah, because it's a happier time. It's a happier time in our lives. We talk about trips.
Traveling is always a happier time for
Yes,
me.
it is. And I mean, you know, people who talk about traveling like, oh, traveling.
Some people hate it.
Some people hate it because they're jaded, but I mean, traveling, they don't like the traveling aspect of it. I can understand that.
Nah, I like all of it.
I mean, I loved all of it this time too.
I like being at the
but
airport.
I will say it was our honeymoon to New York.
Yeah.
And we were on, and maybe that was because we were like, oh, it's over, you know, I've left New York, I'm sad to leave it. We were on the train, and I was just, on the plane, and I was just like,
Really?
I hate being on this plane, I just want to get off this plane now. I just got to that, it just, my mental health, or whatever you want to call it, just was so low, I was just like, oh, we got to stop in, because we had to stop in Atlanta.
I don't know.
We had like a little layover in Atlanta before we got back to Texas. And it was just like, I just remember, I think it was on the second leg, we were coming into us, and I was just like, I just want to be off this plane now.
Yeah.
And I think, and it's genuine, I think back to that, and it's like, oh, it's because it's over. Traveling's over, we're going home.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I'm one of those people who's like, you know, we watch travel videos on YouTube and travel videos wherever else, and we're just like, oh yeah, you know.
Well, I'm kind of the opposite of these people who get somewhere and like once they've been there a couple of days, they get homesick.
I'm the opposite of that.
I'm the opposite of that. Once I get home, once I've been home a couple
I'm
of
sick
days,
of home.
I'm like,
I'm
oh my God.
sick of home. It's just like, you know, yeah.
I can't stand being back here. I want to go.
Well, yes, no, it is that, because it's just, I don't know, people, you know, I guess it's that way for like people who are very homebody-ish, you know, they don't want to leave their
I mean, I think we're quite homebody-ish.
I think we're forced to be.
You know, well, in a way, I think
I mean, if we had the means, I don't think we would be. Well, I don't think I would be anyway. I'd be like, okay, let's go this weekend. Let's go somewhere this weekend. Let's go there.
I suppose so.
So I just kind of like, I'm very ever traveling mindset. And I think that might have come from growing up. I was kind of never in the same place for a long period of time as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, like I was born in England, then we moved to Scotland, then we moved back to England, and then we moved to Wales, and then we moved back to Scotland. It was kind of like, I was just doing like
a circuit.
Yeah. I was like one of the travellers, you know, just going around, you know, just like, oh yeah. And I mean, eventually I ended up in Wales for for my whole of my teenage years.
Yeah.
But I was still kind of like, oh, you know?
Yeah.
A little bit restless, like traveling, you know?
I don't know where mine comes from, because, I mean, I've been in Texas my whole life, but I think that, you know, I could just travel the world for the rest of my life, just, like, constantly go to a new place. I just love it. I don't know.
So this trip, you know, I mean, you've heard enough about it. This trip back to the UK was kind of like, oh, you know, it's something that was needed. It was restorative.
It was a very long time coming.
As your buddy Tom Schwartz likes to say, it was restorative, and it was what we needed, you know?
Yeah. And so, if you've been listening to our podcast, you'll have heard that on this trip back to the UK, so far we've been to London,
baby.
And then we've gone back to Wales. We've been to Bristol.
Yeah.
And I think that's all we've really kind of
We haven't talked about Bath yet then, have we?
No. We're doing it sort of in order. We're trying to
to
break it up, because we know not all of you listening care about our trip and where we've been, you know.
Oh, no, there's some of you are probably just like, oh, I don't want to hear about that. Just talk about, you know, Ribena or British things or something like that. You know?
Yeah.
Well, we will be, because this is a trip back to the UK where all those things live.
Yeah. So, where all those things live.
They do.
All those
like
little
creatures. Little magical beasts.
So after we'd been in Wales for a little while, we decided, okay, we're going to go to Scotland now.
Yeah, I'd wanted to go because I was like...
We were staying at his uncle's, so it's
Yeah.
not like, I don't know. I don't know what it's not like, but we were staying at his uncle's, so we were able to, like, leave our big suitcases and stuff at his house.
Yeah,
and
that
just
was
take,
that
like,
was
a little...
that was so
That
good.
was convenient. Yes.
Very convenient.
We're very thankful to his uncle.
Because,
allowing
I
us
think
to
we
do
talked about it when we got off the train in Wales, and my uncle was there to meet us. And he went and picked up her suitcase, and I was like, it's
Yeah.
it's like very heavy and stuff like that. And he
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I was like, she's packed a kitchen sink.
He carried both of them, didn't he? I don't know why. He was just like, oh, I'll have these now.
Yes, I think he did.
Yeah.
I think he did, yeah.
But anyway.
It was just like,
we luckily
she had to do stairs and everything.
had 2 little carry-ons also, so that made it convenient for taking these short little trips around. And so we decided we were going to go to Scotland. Dominic hadn't been back to Scotland since he was like, how old?
Since I was about 9.
9?
9 or 10.
9,
Yeah,
yeah.
9, yeah.
Yeah, and his
Ullapool was my last place, actually.
his grandmother
So-
had been buried up there, so, and he hadn't yet visited, so we just, he had some family that he wanted to go see, and so we were just like, yeah, let's just, like, and he wanted to show me, like, this was, like, our little tour. If you guys are longtime listeners, his father passed away a couple of years ago, and we hadn't been able to go back, and so it was, like, a little closure trip, a little, like, reminiscing, and just, like,
And even now, I think about it, I think, yeah, that was a good trip.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say it was the best one we've ever taken, but maybe it was.
I think so.
It was. I think it might have been.
I think so, yeah.
The next one will be even better, I think.
So he wanted to just kind of take me around some of the places he'd lived, his old schools, his old houses.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to go on the full tour, because, I mean, Erica showed me all the stuff in Austin and where she lived up in
Panhandle.
West Texas, yeah.
Yeah.
In the Panhandle. And so I was like, yeah, and she keeps asking me, oh, was it like this for you? Or what was your like? And I'm just like, yeah, I'll show you. And so I did. I showed you, didn't I?
Yeah.
The only place we haven't seen is Arran. And I really want to show you that. I was really, like, kind of disappointed that we couldn't do that. But, I mean, we only had a couple of months. It was like, we were fitting a lot in.
Yeah.
And,
And we did fit quite a bit in.
I mean, Scotland.
I think, anyway.
Well, we got on the plane at Bristol.
Yeah. Yes. So we took a where did we? I feel like we took a bus and then a train and then a plane. But did we just do the train to Bristol? For some reason, I thought we had a bus.
We had a bus to Bristol because we went under the suspension bridge.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is the Clifton Suspension Bridge.
That's right.
Because somebody else, I was kind of like, I was zoned out at that part because
we took a bus straight to the airport, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It goes up to Cardiff, and then you change at Cardiff Sophia Gardens.
Right.
That's where you were like, oh, everyone's smoking and everything like that, Everyone's smoking.
Right next to the no smoking signs.
Right next to the no smoking signs. I mean, we were outside, so, you know.
Yeah.
And then we got the bus to Bristol Airport.
Yes.
And that's a it's a very popular airport for people who are flying to, like, Europe. Doing, like, like Spain and whatever, so.
Yeah.
And flying within the UK, I think it's one of the only ones that flies within the UK,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously all of them do, but this is the one that has the most destinations,
Yeah.
Like you could fly to Manchester from Bristol, or something,
Yeah.
But anyway, this one was flying to Glasgow. We were on the bus, and I remember, oh yeah, we went around Bristol because Bristol Airport's out from the city centre, So we went under the Clifton Suspension Bridge.
It was good because, I mean, starting off the trip in a way that we'd already been to Bristol. We took a little trip just to Bristol to see Bristol, and then we did the Cotswolds tour from there.
Cotswolds Way, yeah.
But so this was just like a little different view.
It was a little different
Bristol
view,
than we
yeah.
had before.
Yeah, we were out by the River Avon, you know.
Yeah.
And all that.
And we didn't, and the suspension bridge was one thing that we didn't get to see on our trip to Bristol.
We didn't go over it, but we went under it, and it was, we got a good enough view of it because the traffic was kind of grinding to a halt there, you know.
Yeah.
It was quite bad. But yeah, I do remember we got to Bristol Airport, and we all got off the coach, and you got to wait for the driver to pull out all our suitcases and stuff.
Oh, yes.
And a woman jumped off, and she was like trying to crawl in and grab hers, and he was like, "Excuse me," and the driver was like, "Excuse me, I'll get to it when I get to it. You know, I need to get in there."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, I'm very late." You know, she didn't speak too good of English. She goes,
Yeah.
"I mean, meet my friend. I'm very late. Flight leaves now or something."
Yeah.
You know? And he's like, "Yeah, they tell you to get here 3 hours for a reason. You know, 3 hours before for a reason.
2 to 3 hours before.
Should have planned this better."
Yeah, but she was basically like trying to dig
her own suitcase out, and it's like, "No,
and he was
I'll
just
get
like,
it off."
You're in the way. Like, you doing this is delaying everyone else. You know, I don't know.
She had
people are very self-centered.
People are very self-centered, yes.
But yeah, so then we got in the airport, and we had some time to kill, so we ate. There was a lot of food options in this airport.
What did we eat in Bristol?
We just had Burger King, didn't we?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
We sat on the balcony.
I forgot about that.
We sat on the balcony eating our Burger King and just kind of people watching. And we noticed there was a guy down at like the duty free like alcohol little shop that was kind of just below us with a Jamie Tart jersey on.
AFC Richmond, yeah.
Yes.
Ted Lasso. Yeah.
It was so cute. He had a little bucket hat on and the Jamie Tart thing and everything. And I was like, "Oh, Jamie Tart's down there."
Jamie Tart's down there. And I was like, "What?" And I thought she meant Phil Dunster, the actor. So I'm looking like, where? And it was just some guy who'd bought the AFC Richmond shirt, and it had Tart 9 on the back.
I didn't even know they had merch like that, but that is so cute. And so I was immediately like, well, this is what I need to get everybody in our family for Christmas, because...
Yeah, we recently showed them Ted Lasso. So.
Yeah, because they all like this show, and so I was like, when we go back to London, we're going to have to go to Richmond.
We're going to have to go to Richmond to see
them. Yeah, if they have a shop there or something, which we'll talk more about that eventually. But,
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I didn't know that they were selling...
Because that's a story.
I didn't know they were selling AFC Richmond merch, so that was really super, super cute to see in the Bristol airport. And then we got on the plane, and there's some girl at the front of the plane, like we're sitting down, and you know there's still a line of people coming in, and there's some girl down the way with a Texas Longhorn hoodie on.
Oh yeah, I remember you.
I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me? There's no escaping these people."
I don't know. We were trying to listen out for her talking, but I don't think we heard.
She didn't ever come back as far as us. No.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, maybe she's just got that on.
Yeah, but what are the odds of that? In all of the wide world.
In all of the English-speaking world.
Yeah. Texas Longhorn hoodie in Bristol Airport. Or on the plane, not even just in the airport.
Yeah, we got on. I was like, oh, she got a Texas Longhorn. I was like, oh, well, maybe she's from Texas. Because, I mean, on that Cotswolds trip, there was a couple of Texas people. Yeah. It was Texas people who had lived over.
People who had lived in Texas.
And the North Wales one. I think she was... No, she wasn't the sole American. But she was the one who started talking to us.
Yeah, the people in the Cotswolds...
And she goes, oh, I'm from Houston. I'm like, oh my God, of course they're from Texas.
The people in the Cotswolds tour, they had lived in Texas.
Can't escape Texans these days.
They weren't from Texas, but they had lived in Texas. But yeah, that girl on the Wales tour actually lived in Texas.
Yeah, she lived
we're everywhere, Houston. Okay? We're just everywhere.
You're international. Complaining about people eating chips all the time.
But did you ever think on any of the flights that we took, or on any of the, like, anytime we were on, like, public transportation, did you ever think about all the, like, I particularly did when we were on planes, about all the videos I've seen lately of people just freaking out on the planes, like, throwing fits, fighting, screaming, yelling, cussing, that MF over there isn't real, just
I'm telling you right now.
I'm telling you right now. Just like all the weird people on planes nowadays. I was just like, I wasn't
You were waiting
I wasn't
for it?
anxious, but I was kind of like,
Oh,
right,
is
is anything
gonna
going
be a
to
problem?
happen? Yeah, like.
Yeah, no, I didn't think about that at all, actually.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
I did, so.
I mean, I don't watch TikTok all that much, so,
It's
you know.
not just TikTok, though. It's like, you see these people on the news, like, oh, a passenger had to be restrained because they were throwing stuff at a flight attendant or whatever, you know. I just think people have just lost their minds, but we didn't have anything like that on any of our flights. Our flights were very smooth. I don't remember there being any sort of issue. And then we arrived in Glasgow, and it was dark, and we didn't have any luggage to check because, I mean, to pick up because we already had, we just had our little carry-ons.
We were up in the air for, like, no time at all. Because, you know, before long, the captain was like, okay, we're following the Lanark Road into... I was like, oh, yeah, we've crossed the border now.
When we went to Italy from Spain several years ago, did we check luggage then, or did we just have carry-ons then?
I think we had a suitcase.
We had a suitcase?
I think we did, yeah.
I don't remember having to go pick one up. But anyway, it was very easy. Anyway, whichever. If we have done it before, I didn't remember. And it's very easy, and it's a little bit like, I can see why people try to shove
my
all
uncle,
of their stuff
you know, when
into...
we were talking about doing it, and he was like, I was saying to him, I'm like, my uncle's like me. I just go with the clothes I have on. You know?
I'm not wearing the same clothes over and over. Just think about how many times we got soaked.
Just some underwear in the pocket, and that's it. No, just like...
No.
Just some clean underwear in the pocket, you'll be fine. Yeah, we did get soaked.
Yes.
I mean, it's Britain after all. It rains.
Yeah, you need some changes of clothes.
I'm telling you right now, you need a change of clothes.
Yes. But it is so much easier, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I always wonder, like, how did these people get all of their stuff into a carry-on?
My uncle, because he went to Ireland recently for the rugby, I bet he probably didn't take anything but a change, just a little tiny, like, maybe a bag. A plastic bag with just, like, you know, and he's gone for, like, the weekend or whatever it is. Yeah. But still, it's like, you know, you need a change of clothes.
Need pajamas.
Need pajamas. Telling you right now.
But yeah, so we didn't have any luggage to pick up. We just had our carry-on stuff, so it was easy enough. We just went straight outside, and then we were like, we knew we needed to take a bus kind of into the city center, basically. And had you already booked that?
No. I had to pay for it then and there.
So they have this, like, what was it called?
The Glasgow Express, or I call it Glasgow Express, like the night bus, because it was purple.
No, but it was like the Heathrow Express. I think it was Glasgow.
Because the Glasgow airport's quite outside of the city centre.
It was basically just like the Heathrow Express in
but it was
London,
a bus,
but a bus and not a train. Yeah,
and
a double-decker bus.
It was like, I think it was a tenner.
And it was very dark. We walked outside. Again, people were smoking, even though there were big signs that said no smoking. We had to queue to get to wait for the bus, and then the bus pulled up. And then and it was dark outside, you guys, and it was this big double-decker purple bus pulls up. And it's raining as well. We're like, everybody's under a little awning, and I just looked at Dominic. I was like, "This is like the night bus."
And it was the night bus.
It's like, yeah, man.
Yeah, she was living a Harry Potter life. Living her best Harry Potter life.
It was so good. Yeah, so we got on the bus, and that seemed to take fairly no time also.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 15 minutes to the city centre or something it was.
I was a little bit, like, I will say I was a little bit freaked out about Glasgow, about, like, walking around with our bags.
At night
in Glasgow, just because I'd heard all the, like, it's like the stabbing capital of Britain or something.
Everybody says that, because, Glaswegians are hard nuts and all that kind of stuff, and you're going to get stabbed or you're going to get glassed, and you won't understand what they're saying and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, no, it was fine.
Yeah.
I never felt unsafe in Glasgow.
But I was like, I don't know about this,
I never felt safe in Glasgow until I heard the shout, "There's no more Bucky left!" As Buckfast is unfortunately the tipple of choice, and it's like become a running joke in the UK now. It's like, oh yeah, Clydebank is where all the Buckfast tonic wine goes.
I will say though, do you remember trying to find our was it a hostel or was it a hotel? I don't remember.
It was a hostel.
It was like a hostel, like
it was dingy.
It was the only bad place we stayed the whole time.
And it's like, and we say bad, not in like, oh, like really bad experiences with the people or anything like that. They were fine.
When there wasn't any like unsavory anybody in there. It was just mostly like young people from what I can remember.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a full-on hostel though, because I think we did have a bathroom in our room.
Yeah.
But the room, you guys, it was like...
The room was like...
This was like a budget in. Like, the room was literally just a bed. There was not one table. There was not one chair. There was only a window that was a bit high up. There was a TV, wasn't there?
There was a TV, yeah.
But there was like a little, like, shelf on the wall or something for the remote.
And then the window was kind of high up, yeah. Because, I mean, even for me, like, looking out of it...
I just stand on the bed to look out the window.
Yeah.
It was a little bit like being...
Did we get any footage of that? Did we put it on TikTok?
I know. Because I was like, I'm not showing anybody this room. No. It was like a prison cell.
It was like... Yeah,
it was like white walls. Just a bed. I mean, everything looked clean-ish, I think. Like, we didn't get any bed bugs.
We survived it.
I was just like, okay. The neighborhood wasn't really bad.
I don't think so. I mean, the neighborhood wasn't that bad. No, I looked out the window and it was kind of like we were at the back of the place. So there was like, what was it? There was like some office block and it was some
kind of slab. Like,
I think it was a water company over there. Yeah. And then there was like a big like gouge, like wasteland, no man's land type thing. And I was like, okay, they're gonna build here at some point, or they're gonna fight World War One. I don't know. It's just like...
Yeah. We do take our chances sometimes with some of these, because we're of the mind, like, we're literally just, in this place, we literally were just spending the night because we were going to leave,
so like, I was okay with it,
the next afternoon even, right?
Yeah.
So he and I both are of the agreement of, as long as it has a bathroom, as long as it has a bed, as long as none of the reviews say, like, stained sheets or bed bugs or anything like that, it has clean reviews, then that's fine. This was just, like, on the edge of being fine.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, this was just...
It was very, very basic.
Yes.
If you're used to a higher standard of hotel... You wouldn't like this place. This place wouldn't cut it.
It didn't feel unsafe. That's the other big thing.
Because I went down to get a bottle of Iron Brew, and I remember I went down there, and I said, "Oh, this isn't working." Because, "Oh no, you need a code or a key from back here or something. I need to open it for you."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay," and I'll just add it to your bill.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of bottles of Iron Brew, but it was quite safe, it was, there was just like people from all over turning up,
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, places like that need to exist, don't they? Because people need to be able to afford somewhere to stay when they're going somewhere.
People need a roof over their heads.
Yeah, like not everybody has to have top of the line, like, luxury everything, sometimes clean and safe is it.
Yeah, no, that was it. I mean, we were only staying there, so we got up early, didn't we?
Yeah, we got up very early.
Because we got there, and it was kind of, it was night. We got up very early, and we had a day there. Yeah.
What I was going to say is walking to that hotel, though, it was literally straight uphill.
Oh, yeah.
And the hill was like we were mountain goats climbing up this freaking hill.
Oh, yeah.
And it was raining, so everything was wet, and I was just like, I am going to faceplant any second, like, trying to climb.
You're not going to faceplant, you just walk right into the hill, because you're that
because it's that steep.
No, I mean, I've forgotten. I mean, I was a kid the last time I was in Glasgow, but, when I was walking up the steps, I was like, oh, God, yeah, I do remember this as a kid.
Yeah.
I do remember doing this now as a kid, because I was with my parents,
and it was in the dark as well. It's like, some steps somewhere
Yeah.
would have been convenient because like climbing this mountain in the freaking dark to get to our hotel. I mean, we were like completely out of breath by the time we got there.
People, I don't know if there's any like very flat areas of Britain where like the city is flat and you wouldn't find an incline somewhere.
Yeah.
Or a decline,
Yeah.
Or a slope of some kind, because Britain is just one big island full of hills.
In Bristol, I don't remember there being really many hills, actually.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess they managed to. They managed to like settle it in like a very flat area, with the because I mean,
I guess because there's so many like little rivers and stuff, creeks and streams and stuff through it. It's a little bit.
Yeah, but Glasgow, as you get into Scotland, Glasgow and the Highlands as well. It's all
uphill. It's
uphill.
called the Highlands
for a reason, yeah. Because I mean, you're going around and stuff, and with Glasgow, it was just like one steep hill. It was like I liken it to kind of like San Francisco. It's just hills and then boom, hill and then boom.
Yeah, you just kept going up. There was never any down.
I mean, there was only down if you wanted to get back to the river, which we did.
Yeah, so we got up in the morning and we just kind of walked around a little bit. I mean, we didn't really have time to like actually go see things, so we were just kind of exploring the area that was within walkable distance around where we were staying.
We went to Tim Hortons for breakfast.
Yeah, that was our first time at Tim Hortons.
Yeah, and you liked it.
Mm-hmm. We're supposedly going to get one here in Austin, so that's exciting. Because
apparently they're going to expand and open like 200.
Because we both liked it quite a lot, places. Didn't we?
Yeah. It was quite cheap for the,
Oh my God, and I got a hot chocolate, and it was so delicious. And then the breakfast was
You had like
decent.
an egg and sausage or something.
From what I remember, the breakfast was pretty equivalent to most places that do, most like fast food type places that do breakfast.
It was funny though, because we went in and we sat down and we had our breakfast and we were eating, and this guy walked in and looked at the breakfast menu on the touch screen, because every place in Britain now you walk into it's a touch screen. You don't go up to the counter and go, oh, can I have They go, go to the touch screen, pay there, or whatever. Mm-hmm. So he's looking at this and he's like, they're having a laugh. Yeah. He was an English tourist. He was like, they're having a laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
These prices, they were...
And his accent, I think he was from the Midlands. They're having a laugh.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, God, it must be very cheap in the Midlands then to get a breakfast.
Yeah, he and his wife
because this one was pretty cheap to us,
We thought it was very cheap, actually.
It was like £3 or something, wasn't it? Yeah.
I was like, what he's looking at, because the prices
It's like, how much is it where you're from then? Because we're coming there.
Yeah, he and his wife, they turned around and left. They didn't order anything.
No. They were not spending their hard-earned English money.
I mean, maybe they were just going to get a big coffee, like a large or something, and whatever. I don't know, but what we got was very, very reasonable. And then we got a box of Timbits.
Yes.
For later.
Yeah. The mistake we made was keeping them for
holding
later.
them till later. Yeah. And we did try them later, and we weren't really impressed.
But we thought, oh, they must have been better fresh.
Yeah.
Because they were okay. So. They weren't like, oh.
We didn't eat them until that night. Like, we had a little treat before we went to bed. We ate them. And we were both just like, kind of disappointing, actually.
Yes.
But yeah, we just walked around. We went to the river, was it?
The River Clyde.
The river. We just kind of walked around the little, like...
city centre area.
Yeah. Oh, it's really, really beautiful. It's so...
You liked the architecture that was, like, blackened.
Very gothic.
Very gothic and blackened, and you were taking photos of the old church, and people were up in there being laughing at you and filming you for doing it. Because I can't remember, you were taking a film or photo of some church and you were trying to get it and thing. And I was just walking on ahead.
There was some scaffolding around it. But if you've ever traveled around Britain and you're from America, it's just like the architecture is so different from anything you see in America that you want to take pictures. It's so pretty and everything, and you don't care if there's scaffolding, because it's just like, yeah, even with the scaffolding, like, we still don't have anything that looks like this, you know. So I don't know, we just noticed these two women in the window of the building.
Did. I looked up and I was like, I couldn't see them. They obviously had
I was like taking a quick little video, I think, for TikTok, and I don't know, they just, you know, you can feel when someone's like staring at you, and I kind of just looked over my shoulder, and they were on like the second floor in a big window. They were standing there, and one of them was pulling a camera out. Obviously they were gonna like film me. They found me filming that church with the scaffolding funny, I guess, for whatever reason. Maybe just because it has scaffolding, and look at the dumb tourists, like, thinking that looks good or whatever, you know. I mean, who knows? But they were just pulling it out, and they were kind of laughing to themselves, and obviously one of them had called another one over, and just about the time that I turned around and looked up at them, and they both kind of went, "Ugh," and she put her phone down like that, and she was like, "Ugh," and the other one came into the thing like, haha, like kind of laughing, like, what, like, oh, let me see, and then they saw, and their faces, and she just kind of looked around like, where am I?
Where am I? Oh. Up there in the sky, did you see it?
Their faces just dropped, like they weren't laughing anymore. They were just completely caught, and it was just freaking hysterical.
Yes, and I can tell you, they were just like, oh my god, who comes to Glasgow to photograph it?
Yeah.
But that was the thing.
Yeah.
That would have gone up on TikTok saying, oh, look at these tourists, you know, who comes to Glasgow to photograph it?
Yes. Well,
they're taking a photograph of nothing.
Like,
you know?
that TikTok that I found, like that account that I saw the other day of the guy who lives in a house in Notting Hill, and he's always filming the influencers, like going up and down the street or taking pictures outside the other houses.
That's not a case of who comes to Notting Hill and photographs it, though.
Yeah, because everyone does. Everyone.
But so I can understand those two who are probably like, oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Taking a photo of nothing. Does she not know what it is? And you know, it's that kind of thing. You know, I turned around, you were like, oh, I was laughing. I was like, oh no, I didn't see them.
It was just so hysterical. Like, you could tell exactly what had just happened. You know, like.
Yes, I think we'll save the next
End
one.
it there. All right, yeah.
Because I mean, we'll do a part 2 of this. We'll talk about the bus ride from Glasgow to Inverness, because you've got some thoughts, haven't you?
That was basically
some thoughts.
Yeah. We just went.
And then we'll talk about Inverness and Ullapool and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. From you know,
and
that
Edinburgh.
was just the morning and afternoon, and then we went to the bus station at Glasgow and had to wait a little while. I think our bus was a little bit delayed, was it?
Yeah, a little bit.
There was, you know, it's just such good people watching, though, anytime you're at any sort of station. Of course, you have to pay to use the bathroom at the station, which is very annoying.
25 pence.
Yes.
Should be nothing. And it took to change. And the most annoying thing is not that you have to pay.
Well, no, the machine wasn't working, though, for the women's room.
Oh, it wasn't?
Yeah, no.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that was... Yes. So we did that. We took the bus then from Glasgow to Inverness. And as Dominic said, we'll talk about that in the next
in
one.
part 2. Yes, because we're going to do a part 2 about this. So we got, like, Inverness, Ullapool, and Edinburgh to talk about.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so
the next time,
this may be 3 parts. We ramble.
We ramble on, you know, and there's not a lot we can edit out because it's good rambling, you know. It's good rambling.
If we do say so ourselves.
Yeah. You love it. You love to hear us talk, so.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't, then just, you know, don't click on these podcasts where we say, you know, we're going to talk about a place.
Do click on them. Click on them and listen to them and then tell us what you think.
Yes. And pass this one in particular around and let's see if we can find those girls, because maybe they got some footage of me. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to see that actually too. I'd like to see me walking off disinterestedly.
I never got to look the place up too. I thought, well, maybe I should look the place up and see. I don't know. Was it a church?
I thought it was.
It looked more like some sort of kind of town hall-ish governmental little, I don't know, kind of thing like that. I was going to look it up and see, like, is this some sort of, like, hysterical location, like, you know, like, that they would know about. I don't know. I was just curious why it was so funny that I was taking a picture of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Anyway.
they live across the street. They see it all the time. They don't find it picture-worthy, apparently.
Nope. Don't find Glasgow picture-worthy at all.
Oh, my gosh. Anyways, thank you guys so much, as always, for tuning in. We really appreciate your support. Be sure to give us a follow on social media if you don't already. We are at Butty, TEABUTTY, on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all the places. And shout out, as always, to our patrons for their continued support. We really appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you all next time.
See you next time.
Bye.